Alright,
Let's do it.
so first of all, COD League season format was just released. I'm sure everyone who's interested saw that. We got four
Hmm.
majors, one in Madrid, one in Dallas, one in Miami, and a fourth. They didn't really announce where it was going to be at, so uh,
It's to be determined
yeah, it was
on
supposed
that
to be in
one.
Chicago, but it seems like that may have fell through, or at the very least, they haven't confirmed that yet. So, what do
Hmm.
you think of four majors again this time around?
I think I think it kind of I prefer the five major format personally, but the I think the four majors is just it's pretty solid, especially now. I will say on a side note, I think Madrid's a really nice pick. Europe's been needing a land for a long time now. Aside from like their leagues, brings the Call of Duty League to Europe. And that's a nice addition
Yeah,
as well.
it's been a while since it's been in Europe. Like you said, I would prefer uh, what we would say more majors, but they did announce that we will be getting minor tournaments here.
Hmm.
Single elimination, only the top teams get points, and the seeding really doesn't change. Like it doesn't have effect on the qualifier. It's just kind of a standalone thing, smashed in the middle. Do you think that that's a good alternative, or are you kind of like I don't know, like what's the point of doing that?
What was is it like the is it online or is it on land? If it was on land, I'd say yes. It's a really good compensation on that. Even if it's like having like just some of the teams, go against like the major like rivals, so to speak, go against each other, or even like say all stars for the majors, kind of going at it. That'd be interesting to do, but I I think the online is kind of cheese.
Yeah, I kind of agree on that. I was hoping for like the minors to replace the qualifiers when it was kind of first talked about, because I think
Mhm.
that if you did like two of these kind of tournaments online, you know, based on how those go, do seeding for group play, and then do a slightly better land. I think that would
Mhm.
make for a more exciting season schedule because the qualifying matches are just boring. I mean,
They are.
unless it's against the top teams or teams you got some stake in on who's playing, it's just hardly worth watching.
Well, that's the thing. Usually, it's like we gotta wait till aside from like the major matches or like the that are usually really close. It's usually you gotta wait till like the end of the year to see what happens. And it's really kind of because of how the CDL points system works, especially now with the four teams getting pushed out of the COD champs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's just
yeah, I agree with that. It definitely makes it weird. I don't know. I don't hate it, but I think that it could be better. But at least they're making changes. They're not just sticking with it. Because it seems like the last 3 years we've kind of just been like, whatever, run it back kind of thing.
yeah.
So we'll see how these go, and hopefully, eventually, they're like, this is more successful. Let's throw them on land or something like that. Who
Hmm.
knows? But speaking of champs, hosted by Toronto Ultra, I guess that means they're winning it this year, right? Based on how they're performing. So that's exciting for those guys. Getting released.
who's who's on that roster now?
That's Beans, Insight, Kleenex, and Joe Deceives. So, yeah,
They don't win. They
I don't
don't.
know. I've heard they win. As long as they have drums at the event, they should be okay. So exciting.
I think that's a really dumb argument, especially like you got to because like last year, Optic won. Of course, it was their home event as well. But at the same time, it's like you gotta realize how big the Optic fan base actually is. compared to all these other organizations, other than maybe FaZe or like LAT. But Optics still, no, regardless, is the biggest Call of Duty franchise.
Yeah, I think
You're not.
it's fair to say that regardless of them hosting it, um, other than the walkout, nothing changes. I mean, everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Some FaZe fans are delusional. That's weird, but it's good for them. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. I mean, I think everyone's kind of calmed down on it now that it's actually kind of over. But yeah, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
good because Toronto always hosts pretty good events, at least.
They do.
So, hey, I mean, as long as the stage is like it was last year and everything, I think it will be a good event. And like I said, I mean, champs is going to be champs regardless. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair to say. But we got
I wish they
the
did the. I wish they did the face-off more.
yeah, they probably will this year based on the result of last year. I think everyone kind of agreed that that was best case.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, we're not champs yet, and we just got. I mean, the game just dropped. Everything's kind of up in the air right now. We're
Yeah.
running the Ames and the Jackal. What do you think of the matchup? Do you think it'll stay with the Krieg and Sog coming in and all that? What are your thoughts based on playing it a little bit here?
So I happened to scrim a couple of times and play some eights. I think I don't think the Sog comes back. The Krieg might, but I think the Ames is just a little bit more powerful than the Krieg, so it's probably going to end up staying as is. Um, but that's just my take on it. The Sog will probably end up having a little bit more maneuverability compared to the Jackal, but I think the Jackal's going to have a little bit more hit to it.
Yeah, and honestly, early on, I thought Jackal Ames, but Model L came out. The Jackal's kind of OP for a little bit. They're early on, so hey, I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy with it. I think it's a pretty balanced meta overall. Usually is in a Treyarch game. I don't know, we don't use DLC game or guns ever, so I don't think those are
Mm-hmm.
coming in unless they're like crazy good. I mean, like good as in balance and all that. We'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it, but I am slightly unhappy with the maps. Red card is pretty much a
Mm-hmm.
joke. We're not playing Vorkuta for some stupid reason. Um, and we're sitting here
Yeah.
on Rewind, which has got to be one of the most insane maps to ever be played in comp. Hacienda's coming soon. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I think the maps are just genuinely kind of garbage this year. I mean, to
Yeah.
start off, I don't hate Protocol. It's also really weird a really weird map. Skyline's the
I.
most straightforward, and I'm trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's the? Am I missing one?
No, I think you've hit on all of them.
Hmm. Yeah. It's just odd. So, do you have any thoughts on the map? I know they get better. It's a Treyarch game. It's kind of where we were at in Cold War. I mean,
Oh, there's also
there's
Vault.
Vault for sure.
Yep.
Vault's alright. I like
But
Vault. But yeah, it's a Treyarch game, so we're probably gonna get good maps coming soon. But how do you feel about it right now?
as of right now, yeah, the Vorkuta situation is kind of really up in the air. Um, I get why though. It's kind of a weird map with how it's laid out. Um, but as far as like you said, Skyline's the most straightforward, but it's also kind of like the bow cage in a lot of senses, just with how fast paced it can be. And then protocols. The map itself is really, I think protocol is really solid layout wise. It's just some of the hill placements is like really weird, and then like having the one of the bomb sites underneath in that bunker. That's like the only thing that really throws me off on that map. And then say Volvo's solid, and then the rest of the maps are a joke,
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's a fair way of saying it. because and Vault's also got that weird underground bomb site in the vault.
Yeah, but for hardpoint, it's a solid hardpoint in my mind.
I think Vault's a really good hardpoint. I'd like them to move that bomb site, but yeah, I completely
Mhm.
agree with that. I mean, overall, like I said, the game's always a little shaky. I mean, last year we are playing Terminal Hardpoint in Major 1. Hopefully, it doesn't get that far with Red Card. I mean, as soon as they announced Hacienda shots, he's like, I'm never playing Red Card in a scrim again. So that's good news. I think they're just going to force that map in just because of the fact that it can't get much worse than Red Card.
Well, everybody's under the impression that like BO4 maps are going to be perfect with this movement.
Oh yeah,
and the pacing
because they're slightly better, but also with the pacing on this game, it's going to help because like you see, Skyline is like if Bocage went on cocaine. I mean, that thing's exhausting. You don't stop moving. You feel like there's no reason to do that. So yeah, we'll have to see, but I'd like to see some of them BO4 maps that were like really good. Was that Arsenal, especially for control? I think we're gonna be struggling to get control maps in right now. What are we gonna play? Protocol and freaking Rewind or something?
I have no clue. No, I haven't been in a scrim or
yeah, I mean, obviously me neither, but
or a ace that played control.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of S&D. I played a little bit of hardpoint within those parameters. And it's really nobody wants to play control right now because it's all up in the air.
No, and
I don't think it's been acknowledged.
I was gonna say I think CTF will kind of be banging in this game for some reason, just because of the pacing. I definitely don't think it'd be as boring. But like we said, I mean, all that's gonna change probably before Major 1 qualifiers even start. Maybe not qualifiers, but before the tournament, I'm sure. Because there's also 2 other new maps that they are brand new, so maybe they'll be good. Who knows?
Well, that's the thing. They're probably going to being forced to like play out like the original maps and guns throughout Major 1, and then they're probably going to experiment leading up to like Major 2 qualifiers. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, I think they're gonna make Hacienda in as soon as it's out, though. I don't see a world where we're not playing Hacienda, just because they hate red card like most pros, except like maybe a couple. So yeah, we'll have to see. And same with control. Who knows what we're gonna be doing there?